Alright, so I apologize for that time lapse being a little dark. You know, you switch from video to photo time lapse, I just can't be awesome at everything, okay? So I'm not the photo wizard, okay? You know, I've said it once, I'll say it again. You might be feeling like warm, tingly feelings in and around your genital areas. And don't be alarmed, that's just your manhood being awakened after witnessing such an awesome spectacle of woodcutting glory. But how does it work, man? Well, let me explain. It's basically a chainsaw, but a more accurate, awesome chainsaw that made love to a plunge router. And this is what this is their love child. So yeah, like if a chainsaw had sex with a router, this is what their children would look like. Which is pretty awesome. I think chainsaws should be having sex with routers more often, if this is what happens. Anyways. So you take the best part of a chainsaw, which is its awesome cutting power, times that by like 4, because it's like 1.25 inches wide chainsaw bar by 1 inch and 9/16. So it's basically a large 1.5 inch mortise, but it doesn't lube like a chainsaw. It's got this little grease nipple. You put the grease on there, and that lubricates the chain without spitting oil everywhere like a chainsaw would. So it's like a chainsaw with class, you know what I'm saying? No clamps required like the Makita chain mortiser. You gotta clamp it on and like use little things. Not knocking that tool because I don't own one and it might be just as awesome. To adjust the centering, you just crank this little clamp, adjust your fence, whichever way you want to go, clamp it down, plunge away. Super simple to use, got a little depth guide just like a router, some nice handles, 2 triggers, it's got a little locking pin here so it clicks in the up position so it's not banging around in your car. It's well built, and it's made by Ryobi. Get that? You know, we're used to being in North America where Ryobi tools are garbage, but in Japan, where Ryobi started, they actually make like a solid version of tools, like a solid line of tools that are really legit, just like Makita or Hitachi or anybody else. And I guess this is one of those because it's pretty well built. The only downside is that you gotta use one of these little step-up inverter boxes that weigh about 20 pounds. You can lug that thing around because these Japanese tools are wired for 220 plugs. That's what they use in Japan, I guess. Never been. I know. I call myself a samurai. I've never been to Japan. One day, you know, like it's like, you know, I'm thinking to the future. It's part of me is in Japan. I'm gonna go find that part of me one day. But for now, I can only dream. So yeah, it cuts square holes. It's freaking awesome. Cut these holes in like less than 3 minutes, and they're actually really straight and really accurate. The only downside is it cuts really clean on the one side where the chain's going down, and then it's a little bit rough when the chain's coming out. It tends to tear out the wood, but if you score that side of your mortise, it does a really clean cut. So there's really no downside to this thing other than lugging around the little inverter box for the 220 power. It's just an awesome tool, so I just wanted to share it with you, you know. It's kind of a tease though, because I've only ever seen one of these on eBay ever, and I look all the time, and I bought it, so I like own the only one that's available. But maybe, just maybe, if you look on eBay or search the whole interweb, you could find one too and have your very own Ryobi chain mortiser. But otherwise, you're just gonna have to drool over mine, and that's why I made this video, so you could covet my awesome tools and somehow experience the woodcutting awesomeness through my videos, you know. So yeah, you're welcome. And we'll see you on the next Geek Out.